Hey everyone, it's your girl here, Chauncey K. Robinson. I got a little bit of an intro. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
I got to get a different intro. I just thanks for tuning in. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a great week so far. Oh my gosh, my mom has already told me to stop saying it, but I can't stop saying it because y'all, I am melting. It is so hot, and I just I put on makeup, but I was just like, oh my gosh. Hey Tom, how's it going? Thanks so much. Welcome, Twisted Fam. Always a pleasure having y'all here. I think I cut it. I think I saw your message at the end of the stream last time, Tom, after I already turned it off, where you were saying you were telling your therapist about Twisted, about the community here. And that is, I tell my therapist the same about how I love streaming and just chilling with you all, talking about some of our favorite stuff. So it's always a pleasure. Hey Felix, how's it going? Sabetti. Yes. Oh, the heat wave just broke in Boston. That's nice. Lucky.
That broke tonight.
Was it? They were saying that for us over here on the West Coast, it's supposed to be like up in the 90s until maybe I think maybe Saturday we're supposed to have it up in the 90s. Like, y'all see me, I got my scarf on because my hair is hot. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's hot. Hey Deb, how's it going? I like that. Is that a new avatar? I like that avatar. It's cute.
Hi, peeps.
Yes. All right. Demon of Money. We are doing evil tonight, y'all. Oh my gosh, Halloween, right? Yes. Hopefully it'll be cooler around that time, because I don't even know how I'm gonna be wearing a costume if it stays this kind of hot or whatever. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know about all that. Central Air is where it's at. So this is I feel like what I ended up reading, because I know I asked this every stream, where I'm just like, how many episodes is this season? I believe this season is 10 episodes. So I think this is the episode, what we had today, the Demon of Money, is the episode right before the season finale. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking is going on. And oh my gosh, what an episode this was. A lot of things happened. It was a subtle episode, but it was things occurred for sure, to the point where it's like, what is going to be the fallout from all of this? Because we definitely are going to have a fallout from all of this, from all the things that happened. Some fun things happened, some not so fun things happened, some very not so fun things happened. But then we also saw a little bit of some great stuff with the characters. Yeah, the finale is Sunday. That's what I was figuring. Thanks, Tom. Because I think, because when my mom texted me, she was like, oh, that was the season finale. I'm like, season finale? They only gave 9 episodes? But then when I watched it, I was like, oh no, this can't be the season finale. I mean, it was good, but I'm like, they got to have one more episode for sure. And yes, Deb, I agree. This episode was definitely a packed episode. We had a lot of things going on. Grace kind of took center stage. For those watching, I have a picture of Grace and David. I love this friendship. I love the connection the two of them have. And it was great to kind of see her reach out to David and David be there for her. I really, really dug that. I just loved watching Grace this episode. She's one of my fave characters. I mean, honestly, this is a show where I can honestly say I really like all the characters. I don't have any character where I'm just like, oh, you again. Although I will say I'm starting to feel that way towards Leland, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this was a very packed episode. A lot of things happen. A lot of things are happening when it comes to this episode. So, first and foremost, I want to know what y'all would give the grade of this episode. I think last episode I gave it a B plus. I gave it a B plus last episode. I said B plus. And that's only because comparatively speaking, like honestly, my B plus for this show is like an A in comparison to any other show, because a lot of other shows lack what this show does have. But in terms of the other shows, I felt like that was a B plus, just because I felt like it was a little lopsided. I felt the tone shift It was a little bit different of a tone than we're used to, and I thought it was a little jarring. This episode, I would definitely give it an A. Definitely an A. Now, y'all in the chat, I see some people, Felix is giving it an A++. So, Felix, you really liked it. Tell us why. What was the highlight for you? Deb is saying A- for me. Okay, Deb, what was the minus for? What was it like? What didn't cinch the deal for you? So Betty is saying A+. Okay. Any other grades you got so far? Yeah. So I mean, I give it an A, Ma. What would you give it? I gave it an A.
I gave it an A too. I gave it an A mostly because I gave it an A. It started off, good and everything, and it started getting good. Yeah, it was an A. It was really. It had me just sitting here watching it. You know how you just sometimes, it's going, But it started off good with her, and then when they went to start talking about the money thing. It just went good after that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good episode.
I think it definitely came together. I think Thom is saying an A. I'll give Kristen an A for her reaction to these insanities because she had it. Yeah, she definitely was like, what is okay? Especially Kristen of all people. Yeah, the last scene, that was something. And we're going to talk about all of that. For me, I definitely gave it an A. I liked it a bit better than the last episode, mainly because I felt like we got to return to the tone that I'm used to for this show when it came to the balance of the comedy and the humor, I should say. It's not really comedy because it's not zany comedy, it's humor. The balance of the humor with the dark elements of it were back for me in terms of the balance for the show. So I was happy about that. Definitely a return to I think they're very, I want to say, I feel like they're getting a lot better with tying up loose ends in the show. I think one of my biggest things with the season 2 was that I felt like a lot of plot lines that were really good were started, but then they kind of dropped off, like that nun who had the stigmata going on. I'd love to see what happened to the nun who was dealing with stigmata that Kristen really got along well with. Mm-hmm. And we've never had to return back to her on whether or not she was having the stigmata. There were things like that were happening in season 2 that was just like, okay, are we going back? Like, that was really good, but you didn't finish it. Let's go back to it. And I feel like they're getting very good at tying up loose, not letting stuff linger for too long, which I thought was an issue in the last season. I felt like stuff was just like, okay, I guess we'll have to wait like 5 episodes before we actually get even a throwback or a mention of the thing. And I feel like this season, they're very much, they mention stuff that happens in the previous episode. They talk about stuff. It's not so much, that happened 5 episodes later. Nobody talks about it next episode. 4 episodes later, then we get a reference, Mm-hmm. Deb is saying, I loved it for the most part. I'm just annoyed that Leland killed the priest, but the episode deserves an A. I have some feelings about that. I agree with you for sure. Josh, how's it going, Josh? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, Josh.
Thanks for joining. What are you saying? I think what's working for me is stuff is really connecting, and there's stakes now, and I do feel like pressure is closing in on both Cheryl and Leland, so I'm appreciative of that. I kind of felt like Grace would be a game changer once she got back just because of the power that she has. So I knew that things would definitely have to shift because of her being there, because there's just going to be stuff that's just not going to go under the radar. Yeah, exactly, Sabeti. More continuity for sure. And let's jump into that, right? Okay, so I guess this is kind of a small thing, but I do want to address what Kristen was talking about with Kurt in the beginning of the episode, right? Because she kind of revealed some stuff that, although it was only a small scene, I think it really just kind of shows where her head at is in some of the stuff, right? Hey, Josh, how's it going? Josh is saying, I love the episode, but let me tell you, they had me on the edge of my seat at the end, and I would have dropped this whole show if they killed Grace off. Exactly. Now, I don't know if I would have dropped the whole show, but I definitely would have been pissed. I would have been like, all of that to get Grace back, and then you kill her off? Like, don't do that. Like we got, I mean, and also for me, I guess I also feel like she's a woman of color, and it's like, okay, we got a woman of color main character up in here. That's what's up. She got powers and everything. Let's not kill her off when she just gets back. Let's not do that. Let's have her stay around just a little bit longer. Tom is saying Grace and then Visions is about to, exactly. I figured she was gonna be, I felt like she was gonna be a game changer when Grace got back, because she's, I mean, I love Grace. I love the actress. She had such a way about her that's such a subtle kind of way about her that I really appreciate, that also has such, you just want to root for this character. I think they did such a great job with the casting and everything. You just want to root for Grace. You just want Grace to be happy because she has such devotion, kind of like Sister Andrea with the devotion, but not as judging, you know? So I really like that balance. And I love the connection her and David has. Josh is saying, but I agree, they've been really good at the follow-up this season, definitely. Josh is giving us some news saying it's confirmed 13 episodes. Really? Okay, so next episode is not the season finale. Okay, so I thought next episode was the season finale, but you're saying we got 4 more episodes. We got 10, 11, 12, 13. So you're saying we got 4 more? Okay. Really? I'm gonna hold you to that, Josh. Hey, Josh. All right. I hope so. I would love that. Because there's a lot more stuff that needs to get taken on, even though I'm still very happy that we are definitely getting a season 4. So at least we know that. We know stuff is going down and we will be getting a season 4 for sure. Yeah, so I just realized I got 2 fans in this room and I don't have them turned on me. Let me text Michael. I need to come turn these fans on me. It's hot. I'm sweating here, guys. So let's talk about what Kristen said to Kurt in the beginning of the episode. She touched on 2 things that I thought were really important. Just on the interpersonal plot lines that we get. She talked about the death of the woman that was about to have the baby that was her egg. And, you know, it was, you know, and that scene was so powerful at the end of episode 8, right? I think all of us were just like, whoa, that episode, and Kristen's response, the actress's response to that was just like, whoa, right? And I like that they did do the follow-up where she was immediately talking afterwards. Okay, Josh is saying it's 10 episodes. Okay, so next episode is the season finale. Cool. Okay, I think it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You gave us hope. It's always fine. Hope is good. Hope is great, guys. Josh is saying one thing I love about Grace's character and their portrayal of psychics. She feels realistic. Exactly. I agree with that. So with Kristen, she admitted that she was somewhat okay with the fact that the baby wasn't born. I think she probably, of course, would have wanted it without the woman getting killed for it. But she also had to admit, am I a bad person for actually being okay with the fact that this pregnancy didn't go through? And in a way, I felt almost bad, because I think when we found out about the egg, because the random new character Yasmin was on the scene last episode, I was like, are we going to have to deal with another thing where Kristen's going to be paying attention to this kid and wondering if this kid's going to be the Antichrist from afar and stuff like that? And I was like, I don't know how well that's going to gel with the show. So I almost felt bad, because I'm like, should I feel bad that I'm also okay with the fact that was tied up? You know what I mean? I almost felt bad myself. I'm like, is she speaking for me as a person who was kind of okay with the fact that pregnancy didn't go through with? You know, not so much that I wanted the woman to die, because I liked the couple, but I was like, I'm kind of okay with the fact that we don't have a whole new plot line of Kristen having to see a child that is of her being raised from afar and worrying about what could happen there. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that, Ma, with the fact that she was okay with it? And what do you feel about the fact of them kind of tying up that plot line pretty quickly?
Yeah, but then make you think too. I mean, okay, first when the man told you that you heard the baby ground, but you don't believe it. I mean, you should have told David. I always felt that she should have told David and them, you know, what the man was going through and what he felt, you know. But she said she didn't think nothing of it. She just felt that he was just exaggerated. But she should know that it wasn't exaggeration in a sense. And every time when she talked to him, she should have saw that. But like she was saying, she didn't really see. She felt that it wasn't, you know, that it was. She chalked it up to being the first time father.
Yeah,
But
and because she did. Yeah, go ahead.
I felt so bad for that. But then when she did say that, you know, when she asked, "Am I a bad person for now?" and then I understood that too. Yeah, you got one child that you're worrying about, then you have to worry about another child.
Yeah. So I understood it, and I was like, and I also, as crazy as Kurt is acting right now, I also understood his response. Like, we all have dark thoughts, it's not so much that we want those dark thoughts to, what do they call that? They call it something when you have a really dark thought about something, but you don't act on it. Like, oh, what if I just like not jumped in traffic? What if I just pushed this person into traffic? Just random stuff. And they call it something. It's some kind of it's some kind of a effect. They call it something. When you just have a randomly really dark thought or whatever like that. But, sometimes it's dark thoughts and sometimes it's not so random.
Called evil is called no soul. That's what it is.
No, well, yes, in the spiritual sense, but there's a psychology term for it, about that thought, chaos voice or whatever. I have to look that up. And then there was the other part that Felix is actually touching on right now. I feel like with the doctor, Kurt, on the evil side of Kristen's words coming back to her husband. I don't know if he's going intrusive thoughts. Yes, that's one of the things. Intrusive thoughts. Like that's one of the Thank y'all. Thank you, Josh and Tom on that. Because the second part, what Felix is actually referring to, the second part is what Kristen was saying about Andy. And I think this was really telling. And I think many of us aren't too surprised that she felt this way because we all kind of felt this way about the Andy character, where she said, I just have a feeling he's not coming back. And part of me wonders if that's more simple. And that's a wild thing, right? That's her husband. And she's like, I just have a feeling he's not coming back. And I'm just I feel bad because I almost feel like things are more simple because of that. And I'm like, wow, you don't want your husband to come back? That's weird. But I think it also speaks to where this relationship is. This is exactly why I want, thank you, Michael here with the back studio thing. Oh my gosh, that fan, that air. Oh my gosh, guys. Say hi to Michael, everybody. I needed that air. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to turn the fans on me before I started. Yeah, just leave that one. Got to have the cats to have some air too, because my little one Bev is in front of the other fan, so I don't want to take that away from her. Yeah, shout out to Michael. So Betty says hi, Michael. There's I think we also it was like, yeah, I know that feeling, Kristen, because I feel the same way about the Andy character. But at the same time, this is exactly why I said I want Andy to not die off screen or away from Kristen. I want him to be there so that him and Kristen can fully have closure. Because if he dies off screen, she's going to have to live with that guilt. And that's going to be a whole other thing. I'd rather them have one of the most normal thing that could happen in this show, which is a regular divorce where the girls are going back and forth or something like that. I don't know. But something like that, because I don't want him to die without them having the conversation they clearly need to have, which is that this relationship is no longer salvageable. But I did think it was telling that Kristen admitted that she kind of thinks it would be more simple if he didn't show back up. Josh is making a prediction. I think he's going to come back because Grace said he'll be back next Thursday. But in what way, dead or alive, though, is what I have to question. Exactly. Yeah, that was another thing when it came to the Andy situation where Grace was like, he'll be back next Thursday. And I even was taken aback by that. I was like, oh, okay. That'll be interesting. How's that gonna work? Is he gonna be
or what?
Yeah. Is he gonna be
make it sound like it was like gonna be like sad?
Yeah. And I wonder, this is where it comes from my whole confusion about that whole liquid fluid, liquid transfusion thing they got going on. Does that control the person? It will, if he does come back, will he be under their control or something like that? And if that was the case, why not do that from the beginning? Why not just have him under your control in the beginning, right? So I do wonder how that's going to work out, because if he comes back and he escapes and he's not under their control, is he going to tell Kristen and all of them about all the things that Cheryl and Leland have been doing? Or is it going to be some kind of catch-22 where you can't remember or something like that? You know what I mean? Thom is saying, I feel like when Andy came back, he didn't jump into a flow of the relationship. He came home trying to kick the mom out the garage, flush the head down the side. Exactly. He just was doing too much. I think he was just doing too much. It was like, you gotta ease back in there, because you have to also realize Kristen's been living her life without you around.
And she has her mother.
Yeah, exactly. Thom is saying also maybe his body will be back, but his mind will be shifted after being under a trance or something. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because they still haven't fully explained what the whole thing is with that stuff in the jars. Like, what is that? Did I miss it? Did they ever explain what the heck is that? What the heck is that liquid in the jars and what it does to people, besides just leave them unable to?
Well, every time when Cheryl came, she always had this. She'd be sitting there and they'd be having a few leg or whatever. I'm like,
that's what I'm wondering. I'm just
like, taking it out or putting it in. I'm confused on that one.
I don't know either, and I that's why I want them to explain that, especially if he comes back and he's changed, because it's like, well, what does this liquid do? You know what I mean? You got to explain that at this point. The other thing is, they could have him come back and be stuck in a coma. If they do something to him, maybe they have it so he's stuck in a coma, he's back, but only his body is there and he's stuck in the hospital or something like that. And maybe they got somebody feeding him stuff in the hospital. Ooh. Like they have him in the thing. You know what I mean? Like they have him in that back room now. If they have somebody on the inside in the hospital, they could be like, he's back, but he's in a coma and he's comatose. And they're like doing the thing with the transfusion behind everyone's back.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be more complicated, but at this point, I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
But I don't think they're going to, because all the kids will be there and they won't be. They have, they're gonna ask questions. Why are you doing this? Well,
Yeah, exactly. If the kids are in the thing. So Betty's asking the same question we are. What is in the jars? Is it connected to the cannibal? I don't know. They have not explained the jars to us, and I'm wondering if that's purposefully, or we were supposed to kind of interpret that the jars have something in them, like the essence of the guy who's supposed to be the head or something like that. They have not really explained it, and I do think they need to do that. Felix is saying, I'm hoping that Andy will come home evil or psychic. I don't know. See, I don't want Andy more involved in the story. I feel bad, but it's like I don't necessarily need Andy more involved in what Kristen and them do. I would rather him be the father of the girls and kind of having that relationship, and Kristen kind of moving on with her personal life, because I feel like if he's going to have some powers and stuff, that just becomes a whole thing. Ray, what's up, Ray? Ray with the request to please do American Horror Story season 2. It's okay, so it's better. All right, I gotta check it out. I do have an announcement that my mama and I will be doing The Sandman on Netflix. I don't know who in here is watching The Sandman, but we will be doing The Sandman. If I just started it, so we're gonna cover that. People might have seen it put on the schedule here. It's going to be the first. We're going to take it in breaks, so you don't have to stream the whole episode if you do want to check out the streams. It's going to be episodes 1 through 3 for the first stream coming next week, and then we'll do 4 through 6, and then I think we're going to do 7 through 10. So, if y'all want to come hang out with us as we break it down.
Oh, he finished it. Oh my God. Oh damn, you good.
Maybe boy. Grace will tell us what is in what is in the jars. Maybe. I hope she gets something Josh saying we all don't care for. It's not that I don't care about him, because I do think he serves a good plot point in the fact that Kristen can sometimes give the girls over to him, so she gets a quiet time in the house, maybe, or something. Things like that could serve the storylines for everything else. I just don't think he needs to be more involved. You know.
Yeah, but then with Andy there, if they do bring him back in the sense of everything, he'll probably try to tell Kristen. I mean, he might tell Kristen, your mother do weird stuff, and now I'm here, But I don't think that's gonna work that way either.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like the question is the show ready to reveal what Cheryl is about to Kristen yet? Someone's got to reveal her, because she has been able to function under the radar. But it's like, in what way? And how long can that go on? Same thing with Leland, which we have to talk about.
Yeah, oh my.
Yes, start watching Sandman, Tom. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the part where Desire comes in yet, Ray, but I am excited. I'm excited about all the characters.
Oh,
so look, I've loved the first. Did you just start the first episode?
Yeah.
Okay, I did watch all the episodes. Not all of them. I watched 1 through 3, so I did finish that.
You just
I watched it last night. Yeah.
Oh, I fell asleep.
So Betty is saying, so we want Andy to be a glorified babysitter. Something like that. He's a great plot point, right? It's like
father.
Yeah, he's a good father. He's not a bad. This is the thing about Andy. He's not a bad guy. He's just not right for Kristen, and it's been very clear. No, seriously, this is aside from my bias of shipping her with David. Even if I didn't ship her with David, I wouldn't want her with Andy, because it's just very clear that it doesn't fit for who she is, who she's become as a person. Andy, either they're just not willing to meet each other in that way of talking about it. And it's just like, either you guys are going to really sit down and talk about who you guys have really become, or you're going to admit that there's no reconciliation and let it go. You know what I mean? So I think they need to deal with that. But I think the answer is it's not going to work. And I still want him part of the world, because I don't want the girls to lose their father. I really care about the girls, and I don't think they need that extra trauma of dealing with the death of their dad. So it's like, let's not have that trauma. Let's not have that added layer of emotional baggage for the show. Let's have him come back. He can still take care of the daughters and be around, and we can move on with better stuff than everyone mourning Andy or something. No shade to Andy, but come on. Josh saying, I think if he comes back regularly, he should be full of mixed emotion and leave Kristen because her mother kidnapping him and just can't put up with him. Exactly. Where it's like, I don't know how I deal with this. Maybe I need a break, Exactly. I think I think Sabetti and Josh, y'all are thinking the same. Andy may run after he gets out of the situation. Yeah. Or he might want to take the girls with him. I mean, wouldn't that be something? If he's like, oh my gosh, this is evil stuff. Me and the girls need to leave town because I don't want your mother around them. How will Kristen respond to that? Because we've also seen that Andy, he be making some big decisions and not really trying to talk to Kristen about it. Just kind of telling her, it's like, oh, I want your mom gone. It's like, that's kind of a big deal when her mom's the babysitter and she has to work. And you're like, you just want her gone because you're back. Okay. How does that work? You know?
You don't have nobody. I mean, really? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't felt like a good fit, but I think in a way that's purposeful to kind of show that Kristen's world is changing and Andy doesn't fit in that. And hasn't fit in that for some time, right? So I just thought that was very telling. Okay, so let's talk about the demon of money. Yeah, Kristen would not like that if Andy tried to take the kids, but I feel like he might try something like that because he'd be afraid for their safety. So we'd see. Okay, so let's talk about the actual demon this episode. Then we'll talk about some of the other plot lines that were kind of bigger. But okay, so the demon of money was pretty interesting. Do you think let's figure it out, y'all, because we know it can be like that sometimes with evil, where it's real and sometimes it's not real. Do you think it was an actual demon, lady? Or do you think it was someone pulling something?
I think it was actual demon. But I think it was actual demon.
You think it was actual demon this time?
Because Was it with who was it with? Ben?
Ben, yeah. So Betty's asking in chat, do you think Ben is a believer now?
When he start first, when he start walking towards him, it backed up.
Yeah, he started to run. I was like, I laughed so hard. I was like, right, Ben, run, because that don't seem right.
Well, you see how he got bolder when he backed up. Ben,
Yeah,
like, yeah, and then, yeah, and the guy came
like, it was so good. I love their acting in this show. I love their reactions. Yeah,
that was so funny. But I think it was a demon.
Okay,
That's
so
Jaws.
So you're saying demon. Jaws is saying I think it was real. So Betty is saying they think it was a demon too. I'm gonna go with demon. I don't know what kind of demon though. Yeah. That's the one thing about this show. Sometimes they don't. What we know from the background, right, is that there are a number of demon mini castles or whatever going on, because that's what Grace has been putting together. The demon sigils and all the things. So what we do know is that there are various demon sigils, and I do believe the demon of money is probably part of that, because Grace pointed it out. She showed David the band, and the thing was like, this is a sigil, and that's connected to a I think she called it a very powerful house of money, right? Money. So I thought that was a really interesting aspect of it. I felt like there was a little bit lacking, only because we didn't really get a conclusion of things. I thought it was super interesting. The thing with the fact of the guy having to take off his nose and it's glass eye. I feel like that was the part where you do kind of wonder, is this real, or are these people just kind of crazy? Because this dude said the hardest part was taking out my wife's breast implants. And it was like, oh my gosh, really?
He took it out.
Yeah, I was like, he couldn't go to a doctor to get it taken out, but I guess he couldn't go. But you know what I was thinking? I was like, why didn't he go to a doctor to get it taken out? But then I was thinking he probably couldn't go to a doctor because he would have had to pay a doctor to take out the nose and the eye and the breast implant. So he had to do it for free, because that would have been a vicious cycle of, well, you paid for them to take it out. So you can't do that. You have to take it out yourself. You basically have to not pay anything.
How you say, you got to mutilate yourself?
Or try to find a doctor to do it for free. But since he couldn't, he had to do it himself, right? So we got this lovely picture of the guy with no nose. I even turned away. I was like, oh my gosh.
What?
Yes, it was so brutal. The nose removal. Jaws is saying Ben don't know what to believe, but he's holding on to his skepticism strongly, as he should. I do think we need someone who is skeptical on the show. It helps to push back against some things, and it's not like he hasn't been right. Sometimes there have been times when he's been proven right, that some stuff has been manipulated by man. So I appreciate that aspect of it, but I do think sometimes he doesn't need to admit like, oh, it's all real, but like, okay, there's some stuff I can't explain. So there's that, so I do think he needs to be a little bit more honest about it
when his sister said she was being followed.
Oh yeah, but then he also thought, well, maybe, something, but also it was his sister. And I do love her addition to the show as well. So I'm glad he took it seriously enough to be like, give it to me. Even if it's real or not, I'll take it on. I'm not going to give that to you. I think it was a demon for sure. I just think I want to know a little bit more about it. I felt like it was like, okay, that's a demon, but where did this originate from? This is dealing with the stock market. This is dealing with cryptocurrency. And like Kristen said, that could be anything, because in our day and age, everything's connected with fake money of the Wall Street world and stuff like that, because that's all just fake. I do appreciate the fact that they kind of inherently call the stock market evil, because I agree with this. I am not a big fan of, y'all probably already realize, I'm probably not a big fan of Wall Street or capitalism, to be honest. Mainly because I do think it's all, a whole bunch of people placing, it's basically gambling for finance. You know, it's like you gamble on people's houses, you attempt to figure what's going to be good and what's going to be bad. And a lot of time you're gambling with other people's monies and livelihoods, particularly the banks are most of the time. So a lot of lives have been ruined from the stock market. And a lot of people who shouldn't get rich do get rich by not lifting a finger, but just paying attention to the market or whatever, especially like the housing bubble and stuff like that. So I like the commentary, but I also kind of didn't understand the angle of you got to get rid of it all. Like, why would, if this is the demon of money, and if this is a thing of how they do the houses, where usually someone has to take over the house, why would the demon want them to keep giving up their money?
Yes, and why would you keep wanting? You give it up, then why give it to them? But then you have to pass it on, and then if you gave it all up, who you giving it to?
That's what I mean. Like, well, they just seem to give it all away. But my question is, we know with this show that the sigil usually wants it so someone inherits the kingdom or the house, the demon house. And it just seemed weird to me that the whole thing was just basically a demon trying to get them to give up their stuff. And I was like, well, what's the end game of the demon then? It just seemed a little out of left field for what the sigils usually try to do. I probably would have accepted it more had it been just a regular demon that does that to people. But since they connected it to the sigil, I was a little bit confused as to what the end game was for the demon, because usually it's for someone to take over the house.
Yeah.
But that wasn't necessarily the case. Then again, that kind of was the same thing for the truck driver episode, right? There was a guy who was the lead of the sigil, and his thing was just causing terror, but he wasn't a demon, though. So it was a little weird. I was like, okay, so who's the demon? You know, I mean, I got the point of it, but I didn't understand in the bigger picture of what we've been learning about the demon houses. So let me know, y'all. Let us know if y'all were also a little bit questioning, or if you have an answer for me with that. Ray is asking a question to us all. Do you think it's harder to be a skeptic or believer? Especially in the context of this show. I believe in moderation, but I do think it's a little bit, I don't know. What do you think, Ma?
That you can be what is
it easier to be? Is it easier to be someone who believes in the bigger things of life, or do you think it's easier to be someone who's always skeptic of all of that?
I think it'd be easier for people to be skeptic because they'll,
Yeah. So Betty's asking, what is the goal of the demon? Exactly. That was my question as well. Jaws is saying, I think it's all about torture with those two. Yeah, maybe it is about torture. Maybe it's not about trying to get another inheritor of the demon house. Maybe it's just that's what its thing is, to cause havoc through the stock market. Like the stock market already wreaks havoc on our society. Dom is saying, when he took them bandages off his face, I was dying that Kristen face because mine was exactly. I was like, oh no. See, the eye thing I didn't mind, but when they did the nose, I was like, oh my gosh.
They did that was I said, ooh, they really showed out.
Yeah. I was a little thrown off. Felix saying, why? To mock scripture regarding if your eyes causes you to sin, cast it off. Yeah, I mean, that is one of the things. And this is the thing. In the Bible does say, I don't know if it's an exact quote, but the Bible does mention, is it an exact quote? It's been so long since I've read the Bible. Money is the root of all evil. It doesn't necessarily say that directly, though, but it does talk about money corrupting people. Right, Ma? What do you remember that?
In a way, when Jesus came to the church or whatever,
he overturned the table.
He overturned the tables and everything,
Yeah. I do think it's interesting. I just felt like it was going to be a little bit of a bigger kind of thing regarding it, necessarily. But I also, with the whole money being the root of all evil, but I do like that they use the stock market because it does cause a lot of pain and suffering for people who don't make money, who aren't hedge fund babies, right? Who aren't hedge fund people.
I don't understand that. Yeah, you give them the tip, they make the money because it doubled in when they first bought
the thing was with Ben's sister, she didn't win much. She just won like $1,000. But because she used the stock, the thing was following her. So it also makes me wonder, is it a chain of like a single line of people, or is it everybody who makes any money with this stock is being stalked by this figure? That's the thing that's throwing me off, because I'm like, well, how many people have invested in this stock? I mean, other people must have heard of this stock. So is this thing going after everyone? It was a little, I mean, maybe they'll return to it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I do like the fact that Kristen went to that guy. Though I love that. I got a stock tip for you. Yeah, I love that.
Truce. She said, I got, a stock for you. He looked at, I said, oh, Chris, that was not right.
But it was in the vein of Chris. And that's one of the things I love about her. I'm just like, she ain't totally goody two shoes. She's like, hey, I got a stock tip for you, a truce. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm just saying, money and materialize. Everyone has to return everything they bought with the money. Yes. But it's also crazy because the guy, I forgot his name, that they were helping, who ended up so-called committing suicide, but actually, and that's the question, did he commit suicide, or was he killed by the demon? And is that the end goal of the demon, to kill the person eventually? And why? Why kill the person eventually? Because they passed on the stock. So why kill the person?
Yeah, that's why I said I don't understand.
It didn't, all of it wasn't making as much sense to me. That was my issue with it. Because I was like, well, when it comes to stories, I'm like, what are the rules? What's the rules of the demon? What's the rules of what it can do?
Excuse me.
Okay. What's the rules of the demon and things like that. And I just kind of felt like, I'll mute my mama for a second. I just kind of felt like she's smiling, so I'm sure it's nothing too serious. I just kind of felt like it wasn't clear, because I'm like, okay, they passed it on. And I love the reference to the ring, y'all. Ben threw shade at the ring. And I gotta admit, I love the first ring. I didn't watch any of the other ones, or I might have watched the sequel. I don't even remember the sequel. The first one was good. I love how Ben was like some B movie. And then Kristen was like, it's not a B movie. And I was like, damn right. I was like, damn right, it's not a B movie. I was like, Ben's hating right now. He's hating. Ben's hating. Give my mom a chance to come back. She had to take a phone call. But I don't know if anyone has watched The Ring. And that was also funny that he was like, these demons don't even have original ideas. They're starting to just take on bad B movies. So what are you saying, Tom? Money and materialization. Everyone had to return everything they purchased, and nobody really donated to charity. Yeah, it wasn't making sense, some of the rules that the demon was following. Joss is saying, I think my mom is back. We're going to bring her back in here.
Sorry.
It's okay. As long as everything's okay. Joss is saying, the demon likes to make its investors suffer. It's kind of like you can have all the wealth, but is it worth it having evil literally over your shoulder? Exactly. But the question was, it's like, was the demon just trying to cause them to go insane? Because the question is, did the guy commit suicide because he was tired of it, or did the demon kill him?
I think the demon killed him, because when Andy, when Ben saw, when the alert, and he saw the guy trying to get away from him, that's when he decided to run. And when he got there, but I think the demon killed them.
Maybe. But why not? Why didn't he get to kill the other ones yet? Like, how long had he been dealing with it?
See, that's what I'm not understanding, that part where
it was a little bit of a confusing plot. But I did like the tie-up with Kristen and the guy. Yeah.
And the girl, when the girl said she gave up all the money, but then if she did that, why didn't they donate it to the church? Was they gonna go after
charity? I don't know.
Yeah. They can't go after that.
Yeah. Betty saying maybe the goal was to drive people crazy. The man that drowned didn't pass along the stock tip. He didn't. They just kind of heard about the stock tip. That's true. He didn't want to give it up. So Jaws is saying, I think the demon killed him. Maybe. It wasn't totally clear, that part. I'm not going to say that was the weakest part of the episode, because I feel like it had to connect to everything, but it wasn't their strongest demon plot line. I'll say that, just because the rules weren't as clear to me.
Yeah, but think about it. Would you? I mean, if you would hit all that money, would you give it up?
Well, if someone was trying to throw, yes.
You know what? Well, okay, yeah. But then you think
Ma,
about this.
there is a demon literally trying to kill you. You can't take that money with you.
No, I can't take it with me, but damn it, I can live. Like you said, I can live until I can get taken away.
Which won't be long, clearly, from the guy who died in the water.
No. Me and that demon would have had to talk. We go.
Okay, so you would have tried to okay, y'all. What's the question? Do you side with my mom on this? Would you try to have figured something out? Or would you done what the other people did and got rid of it?
Oh hell no! Look, first of all, if it came down to the money, why is it that people always figure they have to fix themselves up?
Well, yeah, but either way, the niece of the guy, she didn't fix herself up. She just gave away all her things, and she said she was much happier. Jaws is saying, yeah, he didn't because he didn't pass the sock tip along, and he never would have died. Maybe because maybe it's like The Ring, right? You have, like I said, you have someone else watch it, and nothing bad happens to you.
But then that still didn't make
sense.
But
it doesn't really make sense because the aunt and the guy still had to give up stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because the uncle told her about the stock tip, but he still was being followed. I don't know. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. Ray is saying, Mama gonna keep the demon money. Lord, somebody call John Constantine. Give it back with a ribbon and cookie basket, right? Oh my gosh. So Betty's laughing at you, Mom. She's like, you keep that money?
Constantine would probably have been with me. I would have my interest with me.
You would have like called some demon, like I need you to rid this guy of me because I want to keep my fortune.
Yeah. I got you, man. Get him,
Josh is asking if I'm going to watch I am going to watch the new Predator movie. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it though, but that is a goal of mine.
Prey.
Yeah, I think it's called Prey. Okay, so then we had what was going on with Kurt. So we got to talk about Kurt a little bit. It seems like Kristen seems to be somewhat aware of what's going on with Kurt. Kurt was having issues, writer's block. He was getting frustrated, but then he felt better once one of the girls read the stuff and really liked the book. That was a very funny scene, but I'm still worried about Kurt, Mom. What do you think?
Yeah, poor Kurt. While he's typing, oh great, he's telling the devil to come into his soul. I said, oh my God, why are you doing that?
All that for a book.
All for a book, and it might not look the way Kristen was looking. I said, "What the hell did he write?" I'm looking at her too, like, "What the hell she write?" And then when the child came down, and she did that, she looked to, and then she went to the mirror. It read right. So I said, "Oh my God, maybe the kids wasn't supposed to read it because in a way it's about their mother."
Do you think? And that was the thing too. Do you think it was about the girls?
I think it was about
the mom.
Yeah, Kristen.
It did seem a little on the nose about killing the mom and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I did peep that too, and I was wondering. So Betty is saying Kurt is a mess. He definitely is. I agree, Fredericus. Thanks for joining. Yes, this is a great show. We really do. We enjoy evil around here. The show, not evil in general. Josh saying Kurt is down horrendously. He is, and I just. It also because Kurt is going down this road, it definitely made me miss Sister Andrea. We haven't seen her for the last 2 episodes. And I really want her to connect with Kurt again because I feel like that's the only way he's going to get out of this. And I think he needs some help because I'm worried it's going to get too far. Like once he actually finishes the book, they're going to be done with him or something. And it's going to be like printed, what do you call it? Posthumously? Like after death or something, like his last words or something like that.
But with that situation with Leland, it might be kind of postponed a little, but the way he was writing, like, come on, Satan, come into I'll give you, I think that's on his own.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't want Kurt I like him. He's silly.
Felix is hoping for Kurt's demise. I gotta disagree with you, Leonard. Felix. I love Kurt. I think he's I really love the actor more so. But I think he needs to be saved. I think he'd be a great asset to the team in his own kind of way. And I just hope he doesn't die because he's actually really good comedy relief too. So I hope he doesn't die. I hope they figure it out with him.
Yeah, I understand. You know, but I think
Yeah.
he made him write that story. I think it's about the kid, Kristen and them and everything.
Yeah. John's is saying it was very on the nose, but mind you, Leland is all about trying to get Kristen's girls to commit acts of evil. Exactly. But did he think that Kurt would pass it along to them, though? That's the thing.
I don't think he wanted him. He didn't think that he would ask Kristen to read the book.
Maybe. But it's like, what's the point of having him write it then?
But yeah. I guess Leland figured that he was going to read it first, but I don't think he was expecting him to tell Chris, read this for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see on that. And then, speaking of Grace, Betty's saying, can Grace help Kurt? And we have to talk about Grace a bit. You know, we finally got Grace back, and this is them going over, you know, some of the stuff, you know, trying to figure out.
Well, before you do that, wasn't it funny when she did do it for Kristen and they all tried to erase? She said no. She closed the door on them.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, not for you. This isn't for you. I love the dynamic.
But she should have showed, maybe if she would have showed them that.
Showed who that?
Let them look at what she drew. Maybe they could have figured it out.
But would the church, well, the thing is, would the church have cared? Like, the church seems to be on their thing about the demons. Are they really going to care that Kristen's husband is somewhere?
I bet you 10 to 1 they would have known what was going on if they would have saw that.
And I don't know. They didn't
know where Leland lived at too.
I don't know. I feel like the Friends of the Vatican know darn near everything. So I find it very hard to believe that they do not know where Leland lives. I mean, David and them knows where Leland lives. So it's like, how does the Friends of the Vatican, who know where David's at all the time, not know where Leland lives? The thing is, they know about Leland too, because Monsieur Victor mentioned Leland. And they said, we're watching him. The whole point was keeping an eye on him. Well, if you were keeping an eye on him like a tag or something, how did you not figure he'd come to? How did you not stop him before he rolled to the tower if y'all are keeping an eye on him? You know?
The first priest. And you only had one there? And the other time you had, you know.
You had like 4 around here, but you only had one guy this time, which made no sense to me. John saying, and I think back to the woman he placed in the episode about the angel helping the people. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's got people around, you know, who is the Friends of the Vatican not aware of this? Like, he almost killed Grace. They should have had way more security on her, given what she was able to do. You know?
Oh no, somebody come on. Oh, God,
so how many of y'all thought that Grace was about to die this episode? How many of y'all were thinking that was about to happen? Because I was a little worried when she was talking to Cheryl and she got that look in her eye and she was like, I won't blame you for tomorrow night. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll forgive Cheryl if she ends up being the reason.
Excuse me again.
Okay. I don't know if I could forgive Cheryl if Grace ends up being the reason that Cheryl ends up being the reason that Grace dies. You know what I mean? So that was something for me. Yeah, I thought it was over for her. And I was a little mad at that. I really did. Because I was like, we just got Grace back, though. You know what I mean? I was like, we just got Grace back. It was a whole thing to get her back. We were missing her in season 2. And we just got her back. And she really going to die at the hands of Cheryl or someone. And no one's going to figure it out until the next time. And this is where it goes to me when it comes to the question of Leland. This is my issue with the Leland situation and Grace. And my issue is I liked Leland in season 1. I really did. I thought he was okay in season 2 for the most part. But now I'm starting to wonder, why are the people who are aware of him? I know David and them can't kill him or something like that. But why, if the Friends of the Vatican know about this, if the entity know about it, why aren't they doing something about this guy?
Yeah.
Why are they okay with keeping Leland around? And the question is, are we going to have any real fallout from this? I mean, Leland tried to kill Grace. And why Also, the question is, how big and bad does Leland think he is to just roll up in there and just start slicing necks and stuff, right? Like, does Leland have some power we don't know about? Like, what's going on that he thought he could just roll up in there, right? And it's just like, is this going to be the final fallout? Like, I don't think we're going to get rid of Leland, because they did talk about it at Comic-Con when some of the cast were there, that they hope in season 4 that they're able, some of them said they, like Cheryl, the actress who plays Cheryl, was saying, I hope Cheryl has a part in taking Leland down or something like that, maybe for a redemption arc or something. So we know from that panel that it doesn't seem like Leland is probably going to meet his demise in season 3, in this season, right? But the question is, can the gloves at least come off, you know, when it comes to this character? And
Yeah.
I feel like the gloves aren't coming off yet. Hold on. Just making sure my stuff is plugged in, y'all. Oh, it's not. All right. Had to make sure my laptop was plugged in. It's about to lose, y'all.
Oh.
My laptop wasn't plugged in. I was playing The Sims on the regular laptop, like on the laptop out in the living room, like more portable. But when I do the thing, I usually hook it up to my whole studio thing here. So in moving it, I didn't plug everything in. But now it's plugged in. Don't worry. Yes, I agree, Joz. We need her to become part of the main cast, the group. I would love that, because I said it before, but I think it would be a nice balance of someone with actual powers, because we know David has his powers in the sense of his sight and his faith, but it would be great to see that with Grace. I don't know if I want her around all the time, because it could be a little too easy if she was able to just touch someone and be like, oh, it's happening, man. Then we wouldn't get the kind of investigating that we get from our trio. But it would be nice if she was around to help when she could. You know what I mean? I'd like that. Josh saying it was honestly kind of wild, because Cheryl said, take care of Andy. And next thing we see, he's going to kill Grace. I didn't understand that.
You got to take care of this. I'm like, yeah. Is she his boss or you? What?
Well, it's not even that she's the boss. It was just like she told him to do one thing and he went to go kill Grace. How is that taking care of Andy? Frederica is saying, I hope they're able to save Kurt. I agree with you. I want them to do that as well. Tom is asking, is Cheryl trying to get close to Leland to actually kill him? I don't know. I don't know if it's that, or if I don't know if Cheryl, I know the actress talking about she wants to do that. She hopes that maybe she's her character is part of that in season 4 at some point. But I don't know if she's made that turn just yet. I think Cheryl is still enjoying the power that she has, but we'll see. She seemed to be very scared that Kristen was going to find out about Andy. So that shows us that Cheryl really wants to keep her daughter and her granddaughters close. But then it brings up the question again. Leland seems to want to kill Kristen. Is Cheryl not aware of this? That she's just cool with him being around? And also, I just didn't understand Leland's reason. I guess Leland was kind of like, and this is the thing, if Leland knew where Grace was all this time, why now would he make the choice to kill her?
Yeah, he said she got to be taken care of.
And it was like, okay, now you're deciding you want to kill her? Now's the time. Thank you, Josh. Josh is saying, I don't know, because Grace's visions are never fully clear and she only gets bits and pieces, and that could be a cool dynamic to play with. Yeah, her not having the full story, full closure, but then kind of having parts that they can go off of. If Kristen and Ben believe that she has powers, because I think Ben and Kristen can be skeptical of her powers a little bit, right? Sabeti is saying, as soon as he heard Grace, I think he realized how special she is and how powerful she is. She could completely dismantle his plans. That's true too. Maybe he wasn't aware she was back, and now he is aware. So, MH, how's it going? M is saying the guy with the boat was killed by the demon because he didn't pass the stop tip to someone else. Yeah, I think that's what we're all pretty much figuring was what happened. Everyone else passed along the stop tip. He didn't. So he got, it was like the ring. It came for him, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I'm glad Leland didn't kill Grace, because that would have really made me hate Leland. Not like, I know he's capable of bad things. Not like, oh my gosh, he really is bad. No, I know Leland's bad. It would have made me hate. It would have made me hate the mechanism of the character had he been allowed to kill Grace. Because it would have been like, why is this character all powerful? You know what I mean? Why is this character allowed to get away with so much? And he seems like a simple man. You know, like what's going on here that Leland's just able to pounce around, and we got the entity, the Friends of the Vatican, with all this espionage, and they can't keep tags on Leland to keep him from going into the.
And he just walk into that church anytime he wants.
Right? I was like, that's not going to make sense to me. So I'm glad it didn't go that far, but I am wondering how he got out of the clutches of the entity like that. And I would like that to be kind of dealt with. I'm not saying I need Leland to get killed off, but I do need him to be taken down a peg or two. Because at this point, I just feel like he's getting away with too much stuff. And it's like, okay, how powerful is this guy? What's going on here? Josh is saying Kristen is on the middle, in that middle of believing skeptic. She's in the middle of a believer and a skeptic. But I think more recently she leans into belief after everything she's been through. Probably. I agree. Bring on to a different villain. It would be cool for a different villain. I definitely could see a different kind of head demon coming into the scene. It would be even interesting if Cheryl becomes the head demon. I mean, wouldn't that be very...
Yeah.
I mean, I want Cheryl to have redemption. Let me know, y'all. Do y'all want Cheryl to be redeemed at some point? I would like for Cheryl to be redeemed just because I see the love that she has for her daughter and her granddaughters. But at the same time, I also think Cheryl could be a badass villain if she really goes all full out and she like inherits like a high demon.
Yeah, but then they're gonna end up killing her.
Well, yeah, but maybe it'll be at the end of the show, like at the end of the series.
No, okay.
Are there any legitimately good characters? Well, Grace is a good character and she has powers. Nothing is super overt. No one's moving things with their minds in this show, but Grace is a character that has the power of foresight. So we do see that. All right. So Grace did not meet her end, y'all. So we still got one more episode though, because she might meet her end. But you know who did meet their end? We know, well, you know who did meet their end? The Monsieur, which I was very sad about.
Don't that leave, what's the name? They might not have a job.
I think they'll have a job. They'll probably replace him with someone else, the head. I mean, this is the thing. David's really important to them as the lead as with the entity and everything. So I think they'll probably just get someone else to head it off, because now that Monsieur is dead, they're going to have to get another head of the church there too. That guy, because someone has to fill in his spot. So we'll probably get a new guy.
You think the one they bring him back, the one that he said that he loved?
They could. That would be an interesting thing if they end up bringing him back, because he's a great actor too. The guy that Monsieur was in love with, and that was so bittersweet that he said, "Tell him that I love him," and I just thought that was so sad. I'm not the biggest fan of the trope that I feel is far too often used in TV shows, which is kill your gays. Don't demonetize me. That's a trope. It's actually, I'm talking to YouTube now. That's a trope where it's like, you know, when it comes to the minorities, when it comes to, I don't like calling us minorities. When it comes to the people of color, and more so when it comes to those who are part of the LGBTQ community, for those who are in the LGBTQ community, they tend to get killed off, you know? And so I felt some type of way he didn't get his happy year ending, but I also understood why it had to be somebody for the stakes to be shown. And I'm glad it wasn't Grace, because either one of those deaths would have been, you know, it's either a gay character or a woman of color character. So neither was a good choice. But I also am not the biggest fan of the tragic LGBTQ character stories where they just never really get a happy ending, which is far too often a thing. And, you know, and you could be that, you don't have to be part of the community, right, to feel that way. It's me with any kind of community where I see like the lack of representation, where I'm like, you know, why do they always have to have a tragic story? Why can't they have a happily ever after? You know what I mean?
They could have had like let him fall and just be stabbed, but still living until they get him to a doctor.
You think he's? I think he's dead.
No, I know he's dead,
Oh.
but it was like when they did that, I was hoping like, okay, he fell down the stairs. Maybe Leland got hurt a little more than he did.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure what the blood is all the way in the back. Did he stab him in the back?
Well, they fell down the stairs together.
Well, I know they fell
and it was like that blade. So a lot of injuries could happen. Looked like Leland was stabbed in the side, so we'll see what happens with that. So Betty's like, I want to call back to Eddie the doll. I want to call back to Eddie the doll too. And it's like, can we get an explanation of why Cheryl was praying to Eddie the doll? Like, what demon was he? What demon was Eddie the doll?
Who wrote that whole thing? Because I guess they went to it and then they just
like, who was he? Like, she believed in him. We already know Cheryl was into the dark arts before Leland even came around to her. That was established. But it's kind of like, well, who is the guy, right? Devastating. I think they will bring his lover back. Yeah, I think so too. And that would be cool because he'd be kind of the more zany, free kind of character. Although I kind of like Monsieur for the balance he gave to them, kind of being a little bit more kind of, well, you kind of can't do this and things like that. But I can see that dynamic of them bringing back his lover. And of course, the character that was there before for a little bit, that actor died recently. So he's not going to be able to come back, unfortunately. The other priest that was the lead of them for a little bit in season 2. Yeah. Maybe Lexus will bring up Eddie. Maybe. Because I think Lexus did see Eddie, didn't she?
Yeah, one of them saw the doll. Remember that? Oh, wait a minute. Remember, was it who had the doll?
Well, that was another family with another doll. That wasn't Eddie. Yeah.
But it was the same doll that what's name saw in what's name room.
Yeah. So exactly. I wish he lived and wakes up with the priest he loves beside. Exactly, Vera. Mm-hmm. Hey, Vera. Yeah, that's what I was sad about that because I was like, why can't he get a happy ending? You know, I'm like, the whole kill your gays trope is just it's a little annoying. The tragic LGBTQ story there. It's like, what? Like they can't get a happy ending? No. I don't like that trope. It's so overdone. Okay, so we got a death. We got a significant death with it, which was very sad. I didn't like it, but I know it had to happen because it was either him or Grace.
Everybody, Grace, oh my God, get somebody called.
I think we all were very worried about Grace, but then I felt like we were worried about Grace so much that it probably had to be someone. I thought Leland was about to kick the bucket. I was like, wouldn't it be something if someone comes in and kills Leland? Like that would be different. I'd be wondering who's going to be the next big bad for sure. Although I don't know, does Leland count as a big bad at this point? Because, he doesn't really do anything overt, but, he is
I understand. You see somebody with that the throat cut. When you pick up something, go upstairs and then try to help him with something in your head.
Well, I don't think he probably had no time to think about it, man. Yeah. Okay. So we know Andy might be coming back. Do y'all think that Ma, do you think that Grace is going to be correct in her revelation that Andy's going to come back?
But when she told, you mean like change it? Like,
well, is Andy coming back? Is she right? And is he coming back like regular? Okay. So you think he's coming back regular?
Because she said she was sure about that, and she told the child that. So
okay, I think so. I think, like we've been saying, though, it might be very weird in terms of how he comes back. Because I'm not sure if they're going to reveal Cheryl to Kristen yet. So Betty is saying Leland's plan went way off track. He's going to have to answer for it. He is. Yes, and I think it was a very bold move. And I don't know, doesn't he have higher ups? So it's kind of like, is his higher ups going to be okay with him having gone trying to take out Grace in the way that he did?
Then you ended up putting 2 priests.
Yeah, exactly. I want there to be repercussions for Leland in some way, you know. Deb is saying if Andy does come back, will he be the same? I don't think so. I that it'll be the question is he gonna escape somehow? Or are they gonna let him come back because Leland messed up? So they gotta cover their tracks or something like that. Exactly. The boss with the 5 eyes. He might be mad, be like, what's going on here? But then again, it's like, is he overseeing this? Who knows, right? It's a
But what
little
was the other guy name? The one that
our dude from the Brady Bunch sequel.
Yeah.
Who I really love. I don't see him enough. I'd be fine with him being the big bad. Very handsome older man there. I'd be fine with him being the new big bad because Cheryl seems to be under him. You know.
I think Leland was under him too.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting if he emerges as the new big bad and how that might be something. Vera's making the prediction, and Andy will come back, but he might not come back right in the mind. He might not. They might make him crazy, right? Might make it so they have to put him away somewhere because he's talking in riddles or something. That would be a way to deal with him if they're capable of doing that. I just also kind of wonder what was the real plan there. Why was Cheryl trying to keep him alive? It's like, why not kill him from the jump? She was planning to keep him alive just there. But why was that the plan? You know, why did they need to keep him alive? Why not just kill him outright? You know, that didn't make sense to me either, right? So they got to kind of answer a few things. They're doing very good at tying some stuff up. Other things are left a little too vague for me, where I'm just like, I'm not very clear on why they did it this way. I'm not very clear on why they didn't kill Andy from jump. I mean, you had him right there. You don't plan on him ever going back to Kristen. I understood they were keeping him alive for a bit to keep Kristen, like to have things answered to her or whatever. But after that, why is he still alive? If y'all are planning to have him have a thing saying he died, you know, because she's like, take care of him. And it's like, does that mean kill him? So Andy must still be alive because Leland went to go kill Grace. Like, a little confused. But overall, I did like the episode. I thought it was a nice lead up to our season finale because a lot of things happened. Leland was revealed. Grace is back. Grace now knows Leland basically did an overt attack against the church. That's going to come with repercussions for sure. Tom is saying killing him would hurt her grandchildren, I think. But if she's going to tell them that he died, won't that hurt him?
Yeah.
You know?
They told me you're going to die and then the insurance money would be better for them. I was like, damn.
Yeah. So it's like the girls are going to get hurt anyway. I don't know.
He heard everything she was saying.
Yeah.
See, that's the main thing. Did he hear everything they was talking
I think about? He was. He seemed to be well aware and awake.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a thing.
So looking forward to it.
So, okay, speaking of next week, Sabetti. Oh, and Josh is asking, any of us see Nope? I have not seen Nope yet, but I do want to check it out. Sabetti's wonder what will happen next week. Speaking of next week, as we wrap up this stream, what are your predictions, lady, for the season finale of Evil? Okay. Let us know y'all predictions in the chat and also in the replay.
Either they'll bring it. Okay, now if my predictions is this, so we can be ready to come back for since they're doing the fourth app. You know, they're bringing them back. They have to leave us at a cliffhanger. So I think the cliffhanger should be with Grace and David discovering something else bigger about Leland.
So you think there's going to be a discovery about Leland?
Yeah, and the they probably try bringing in the big picture of what's going on.
Well, don't you think we kind of got the? Okay, yes, that's a good point. Do you think? And that's the thing. What exactly is Grace working on? Is she working on them trying to find out all of the houses or where the houses are? Like, what map exactly is she? Because they had the maps. They had the maps of the sigils, but it seemed like she was putting something else together. Do we remember what that is that she's putting together?
And they say it's the bigger picture. I'm like,
That would be good if they put it together. Like, what does it look like? I want someone I hope someone stops and explains that big old thing they're working on. Just give us a picture.
They probably show everything since she's drawing and everything. And I bet you 10-1, that's going to be our cliffhanger.
Maybe. Like what it's all coming to, right? Mm-hmm. I can see that.
And what she's going to, and what they all mean that she personally will see.
Yeah. So Betty is saying maybe Andy will be a human sacrifice, maybe. Yeah, they're using her. But okay, so is the map, because I know we had a map of the sigils, but is this a bigger map of the sigils? Because I remember in season 2 we had a map of the sigils. We had like that map, that smaller map. So I'm wondering if the big thing they have is like, is that all of the sigils? Like there's more than what was on the map there? That's what I'm wondering. Or is it like their game plan part of that map? That's what's not totally clear to me, because I thought we had the map of the sigils, which was that smaller map that David and them took pictures of and used. What she putting together? I know they mentioned it, but I forget what exactly. Okay, we did, but it wasn't complete. Okay, thanks, Joz. Yeah, it wasn't totally complete, so there was more to it. Okay, so that's what she's putting together. Great, because that's what I needed the refresher in, on whether or not it was like some bigger picture, or was it just more sigils, more demon things that they wanted to go after. So my predictions are, I think Grace will make it. I do think Grace will make it, because they already did a fake out with her. I don't see them being like, oh, there was a fake out, but we're really going to kill her for the season finale. I think since we already got a major death in episode 9, in this episode, I don't see us getting another major death in the season finale. Thank goodness. I think our trio will be fine, but I don't want anyone else to bite the butt. Anyone else I care about, which is really just Grace and Kurt at this point that's left outside of the trio. So I don't see that. I hope Sister Andrea will be in the season finale, and I hope she helps Kurt. So I don't think this Kurt storyline is going to get wrapped up, though. I do think the Kurt plot line is going to go into season 4, because it's just getting started, and we have the season finale. So I don't know what's going to happen to him in the season finale, but I don't think we're completely done with this plot line. I think the next
might be a lot of cliffhangers left.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot, as this show loves to do. I think we're going to get a lot of cliffhangers with it. We haven't seen Demon Kristen in a while, and that hasn't been revealed to us. Is Demon Kristen still appearing to David? Things like that. So there's a lot of things they got to touch on in this one episode that's left of this season, and my prediction is nothing will be fully tied up. I don't think anything will be fully tied up, but I do hope at least the next step is that Leland is finally all. I feel like I just want the church to be no holds bars with Leland. Like I want the entity to be like, no, it's all out war against Leland. He's been allowed to just kind of walk around for a while. And I want him to at least be able to go underground, because it's like, no, you're number 1 on the list. I mean, this has to be a big affront to them, to the point where it's like, no, he's numero uno. We got to get rid of him. You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. We haven't seen Sister Andrea for a while, and I hope she make an appearance at least to help Kurt or something. So, John's saying, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to sit there? Yeah, I was thinking that, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they'd give it to her, unfortunately. They could offer it to David, but I think because David's a new priest, I think they'd want him to have someone over him. So I do think we're going to get a new character. I would love for it to be Monsieur's lover to come back, because I think that'd be a cool character to have in the church. It could be, I mean, Monsieur Victor is not a priest, so I don't see that. I just hope they don't disband them. That's what I hope doesn't happen, because I don't think that would make sense. So we'll see where it goes. It just sucks, because they're going to have to get used to a whole new person again. And it's like, I hope that's not a whole thing with them. But so far, so good. And we got the season finale next week. And honestly, my only prediction is that we're going to have a lot of cliffhangers. We're going to have a lot of cliffhangers, and I don't think anyone else is going to, any other major character is going to die. Oh, also Ben's sister. Ben's sister is also someone I care about outside of trio. I don't see anyone else getting killed. Maybe someone might get close to being killed, but I don't see anyone dying since we lost Monsieur this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. This is gonna be something, y'all, and we're gonna talk about it, God willing, next week. Also, so that'll be most likely Wednesday, since it seems to fall on Wednesday that we end up doing it. But Thursday we should be able to do the Sandman. Right now, the tentative time is around 5:30 PST time. That might change. I might have another meeting I have to do for work. But right now we are aiming to start talking episodes 1 through 3 of Sandman next week. So if you haven't started it, check it out. It's really interesting so far. I feel like it's a little bit of a slow burn, but I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. So
yeah, it's a slow burn.
Yeah, you fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep, but then
we'll talk about it next week.
I gotta look at it anyway.
Yeah.
I gotta pick up where I left off at.
Yes, but we're gonna be season finale next week of Evil, y'all. Be here or be square or cursed, as Evil likes to get on.
I always thought I like when they say if you skip this, you're gonna be haunted.
I know. Now I actually let it play this past episode. I just let it play. But okay, y'all. I want y'all to be safe. Stay cool out there. It is hot, and don't underestimate how hot it is, because heat can be very dangerous, because you might not even realize you're getting overheated. So drink plenty of water. Try to stay cool. If you're like me and my mama with our chronic body stuff, you might not want to stay in front of the air conditioning for too long, because it might get to your back, because I got some back.
Oh yes,
my bones. But try to stay cool enough. But yes, thank you all for joining us. I always love talking to all of you about some of our favorite shows. And let's do this again next week. And I will look into American Horror Stories and see what this new season about. I didn't care for the first season too much, but we'll see. I hate watching stuff, so we'll see. So I usually, as y'all saw with Charmed, I stopped, and then we saw what happened with that show.
Yeah, they just
got canceled. But I kind of saw the writing on the wall for that. But that's one of the reasons why I stopped. So we'll see if I'll watch a few episodes of American Horror Stories and see. But yeah, everyone, Tom, John, all of y'all have such a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and don't do too much evil. Just watch it. Just watch the show. Don't do evil. Be good out there, y'all. Be good.
Be good.
Okay. Talk to you later.